Now, back to the HaneyBiz Project with host Mark Haney.
All right. Welcome back to the HaneyBiz Project, brought to you courtesy of Comstocks Magazine and California Backyard. I'm Mark Haney, and I'm joined by Bill McAnally, Sacramento's motorsports guru. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing good, Mark.
I appreciate you coming on the show again. And when you come on the show, you always do one thing that I really appreciate. You bring gifts. You brought these signed hats from NASCAR and Toyota, and I mean, that's what you do, man. You're a generous guy.
Well, those aren't just signed. That's Todd Gilliland, the two-time champion.
Wow,
He'll
very
be racing
cool.
on Sundays.
He called in, I think, at our last show, and since he did, he's really went on to excel, hasn't he?
He's done a great job. We had a tremendous year last year. Won 17 of 27 races. He brought home the championship. His two teammates finished second and third in the points. So
Wow.
It was about as good a year as you could.
Bill McAnally's team is like, you guys are one of the best, if not the best in the country. But back up a second. I don't think everybody knows about the Bill McAnally story. Can you give us an overview of the organization?
Well, what we all love doing is the racing, of course. And we develop young drivers when they win their championship, their local racing, and they kind of get to the top of their local racing. The next thing is to start tour racing. So we're that rung in the ladder. We take them from their local surroundings. Mm-hmm. Usually they've been in a family team with their mom, dad, uncle, grandpa, and they come into our organization, and we go road course racing, short track racing. We go to the big tracks like Loudon, Dover, Iowa, put them on a big super speedway mile and larger tracks.
Okay.
So we develop them, and what they're learning in our cars, the chassis components in our NASCAR K&N cars are the same as those in the trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. So when they're learning they need a bigger sway bar, or a bigger right front spring, or dropping the panhard bar, the things they're learning in our cars help them take those next steps in NASCAR so they can communicate.
Well, we all think about the business of professional sports, and I think about the River Cats as compared to the Giants, right? The minor league system. Is that what this is for NASCAR?
Great example. We are the River Cats of NASCAR racing.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, and you're doing it right here out of Sacramento, out of Roseville, California, and and these people are racing all over the country and having entrepreneurial success and racing success all over the country. So these drivers really are entrepreneurs in the making as they build their brand. But let's talk about the rest of your organization. So just so we have kind of an overview of what it's all about.
Well, the racing, like I said, is a near dear what we love to do. But we've got two automotive repair shops. We've got one in Antelope and one at Roseville, right at the old Lumberjack across from Roller King. We've got a 16-bay automotive repair shop. We work on all makes and models. We've got a promotions business where our sponsors, Toyota, Napa, our corporate sponsors, to get them into markets they want. A lot of times it'll be a county-owned facility, much like Placer County Fairgrounds is. Nobody wanted to take the risk of bringing a nationally televised NASCAR K&N race into the city of Roseville to Placer County Fairgrounds. So we rent the facility because our sponsors want to be here. It's a strong market for them, and we promote the race. I've got a promotion team that does that. So that's a big piece. This year we'll be promoting 4 races. Actually just had a meeting with the county supervisors and Placer Valley Tourism, and it looks like I've got a contract sitting in my desk. We very well could be taking over All-American Speedway for 15 years.
I know you've been working on that. It looks like it could be coming together. You think about the life of an entrepreneur, right? You got a guy that's built this incredible business with multiple divisions, if you will. How do you decide where to allocate the Bill McAnally time?
I try to build a team of the best people I can find, and that's where my success is. It's in my people. And I surround myself, just like you, Mark, with the very best people you could find. And when we have a hiccup, it leaves me free to jump in there.
Okay.
It might be my auto care, it might be my racing, but I try to build my programs where there's somebody that's responsible for every facet.
Okay.
And then I'm there to back it up. Or if we start getting lacking a little in something, I'll get in there and nose around and figure out why and try to make it better.
But it sounds like it also, by having the right team around you, it puts you in position to chase opportunities like what you're doing out at the Placer County Fairgrounds, right? That is an enormous opportunity, a regional game changer as you make that happen. So you're able to go, I guess it would take a lot of the Bill McAnally finesse and brain power to make that type of thing happen. I mean,
Well, it's
you can't
just-
do that if you're turning the wrench, right?
No, exactly. And when my people are doing their job right and we don't have problems, that's exactly what it does. I go look for the next opportunity, and we've got 43 employees now. I worked for a utility company locally for 13 years. I never imagined I'd have 43, 2 employees, never less 43. But when they're doing their job right, they're doing a good job, it leaves me a little stir crazy, and I go find the next opportunity.
So you're working for a utility company, and let's walk me through this. Okay, you're working for a utility company. You decide to take on your passion of racing. What happens when you first start? What happened?
Well, we struggled. I mean, I worked at the utility company. I worked overtime and side jobs, building the money to race. At one time, I was racing. I got audited because I spent $500,000 racing, but I was only making $60,000 a year working for the utility company. It didn't make sense. So they got into my books, and I needed to explain to them, and I needed to quickly show them that there was an opportunity to make a lot of money racing, or they weren't gonna. They were wanting a lot of money from me. So we did that, but it was a struggle at first, Mark. There was times I actually thought about quitting racing, and probably the thing that helped me the most was in 1998, I got out of the race car after racing myself for about 12 years. And when I got out of the race car and took it to a business and started building cars and coaching people and crew chiefing people, it took our business to another level. And I was able to quit my job at the utility company the very next year.
Okay, so when you got out of the car, started bringing on the team, that was the turning point. You quit the job, you're going full-time in, but even scaling from there, right, these different divisions, I like to think of nobody goes through life undefeated, right? All of us fail. I fail every day. Lord knows I make mistakes on a daily basis. But in most businesses, just about everybody I've talked to who's been successful as an entrepreneur, they come across, I call it like the slow motion moment, right? It's the time where you're like, what am I going to do? Am I going to take this direction or this direction? Because right now, things are not working like they need to work. Have you ever been like on the brink of failure in business and had to deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, I was at a point where I almost completely quit racing at one time because I was burning the candle at both ends trying to get it done. I actually had my tractor trailer stolen, and it was taken out to the rice fields by the river, and they rummaged through it and dumped over our fuel can and lit it on fire and burnt it to the ground to cover their tracks. I mean, they took a fraction of what I spent years and years building and just burnt the rest down to cover their tracks, and that was a kick in the gut. I'll tell you that if I was ever going to quit, that's the closest I got. But very quick, Mark, I started getting support from the community, from sponsors, from friends, and I didn't want to let people down. I was getting parts and pieces. I got calls from cup teams back east that heard about our incident and wanted to help us and were donating parts. And once I saw that support, that energized me, and I didn't want to let the people that believed in me, I didn't want to let them down.
Well, it makes you think about that, Bill. You're a racer. It's a competitive industry. Everybody is out to be number one, and you have this incredible setback. You get your car stolen. You're at the brink of catastrophe, and then the community rallies around you. Why?
I mean, we've always tried to do the right things. You being involved in the community, helping. The night before, I was at a Pinewood Derby for the Cub Scouts with my race car. The kids were sitting in it, climbing around it, and that's, it's just trying to do the right things. I think when you do the right things, it's going to come back to you.
Yeah. Amazing how that works. And you found a way to leverage sponsorship in a way that some don't understand. Tell us about your relationship with your sponsors and how that might relate to other people in the way they think of their business.
Well, I get young racers all the time that ask me, how do you get sponsors? And honestly, if you can't get them, you're not going to be able to take care of them. but it's all about realizing what they're trying to accomplish. They having their name on the race car, it's hard to go into the door and get you excited about having your name on my race car. But if I could say, hey, I'm going to help you increase your sales by 15%.
Okay.
Or I got some ideas to help you drive sales or for some new business, or I've got a business-to-business opportunity for you. Then all of a sudden I've got their attention and they're as excited as I am and as passionate as I am because it's helping them achieve their dream too. And that's what it's all about. I had a vice president in Napa tell me way back when I first got in with Napa 28 years ago. I've had them for a corporate sponsor. And when you research corporate sponsorship in motorsports, right now there's one team that's had a sponsor longer than we've had Napa Auto Parts, and that's Budweiser with Bernstein. They went 31 years. So I'm hoping to pass that. That's a personal goal.
Yeah.
And we've got an amazing relationship. And like I was saying, the vice president for Napa shared with me that, Bill, we love your race and we love what you're doing. We love your enthusiasm and your passion. But if you help us sell auto parts, we'll continue our relationship. So it got me thinking. I was a young man at that time, and how can I help them sell auto parts? So we started doing ticket programs where people, if they bought parts or came in as a customer, they'd get tickets. We built a 2-seater ride car where they could earn rides in our ride car. We'd do storefront showings and shop showings with our race cars, and they'd have to do certain things to earn those incentives, and it was helping Napa achieve their goal. They were selling parts because of our program, so they continue to sponsor us 28 years now.
It's such a place where people want to be, right? The branding that can happen in professional sports is amazing. Well, thinking about professional sports, right? I'm wearing my Niner shirt today, and you and I are both Niner fans. I did not go to any. I've got 8 season tickets to the Niners, and I didn't go to a game last year. When I walk into your office over there in Roseville, right? It's not an office. It's a huge facility. You've got one gigantic room dedicated to the 49ers. What is that all about?
Well, the Niners, near and dear to me. That's what brought me. I grew up in Ukiah, graduated from Ukiah High, and I came over talking to the coach here. I was on my way up to College of the Redwoods in Humboldt is where I was headed, and I came and talked to Rex Chappell here, and he said, you know what? I'll introduce you to a guy, and I'll get you a job with the 49ers if you come to Sierra and play football. We were sitting over at Shakey's Pizza in Rock, right real close to here, right down the road back then. And that summer, 17 years old, I loaded my pickup up and came here and went to work for the 49ers and spent the next 3 summers working for the Niners and being around that championship organization, seeing how hard they worked, how they prepared, how they were organized. That's helped make me the person I am today.
Yeah. Well, you've got quite a facility over there, but I didn't go to any games this year, and I think what got me not as excited was all this political drama associated with the Niners specifically, but even the NFL. I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to take a year off. I gave away all my tickets this year, and it's like, but next year with Garoppolo coming in, it's like, okay, I'm reignited. The 49er faithful in me is coming back out. I don't hear as much about the politics, and the Niners look like they're investing into some new players. So I'm like, you know what? The patriotism that NASCAR and racing has, is like, if we could bring that to the NFL, we would really have something special.
It would be, and it's just turned into such a money game, and the way things are. I felt the same way as you, and it's sad that we feel that way about a team that we've supported and been loyal to for so long. But I'm with you. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. We're ready for a great Niner year.
Looking forward to going and see some professional athletes run into each other and some real football and less about all the drama. Well, Bill, again, I thank you for coming on the show. We're going to ask you to stick around, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what it's like to be an entrepreneur, what it's like to go through the tough times and survive them. And so I have you take a little bit of a break here. But when we come back, we're going to have Mr. Doug Wageman. He is the president of a funeral, and he's the funeral director of Cochran Wageman. He's the owner of Cochran Wageman Funeral Services. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com, courtesy of Audi Rockland. This is the HaneyBiz Project.